I'm gonna drop something that not a lot of people know about me. So I'm actually sober. So
Shout out to sobriety.
Thank you. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not 100% sober. I still drink. That was never my issue. But I had a drug overdose when I was 19 years old.
Wow.
I was hospitalized. My heart stopped, and all that. So ever since then, I haven't used drugs. Right now, but I'm a passionate advocate because I have a loved one, and specifically for like the medical use of marijuana. I have a loved one. I won't say their name, but they deal with very intense pain from something called endometriosis, a problem women have. That it's literally just intense pain. And if you look up how to treat it, they literally suggest learning the pain relief tactics that the military uses.
Wow.
Like there's no way to handle it. It's just unbelievably painful. And anyway, the thing was, I was talking to her and she was like, here's what sucks. You go to the doctor and all they're going to do is prescribe Vicodin. And the thing is Vicodin is essentially it's legal heroin. Right. So what she's like, she's like, I take the Vicodin and it gets me so high that I can't do anything all day long. It knocks me out. I wake up, my kidneys hurt, my this hurts, my that hurts. But that's legal, and that's the legal way that they make it happen. And she can't do anything, right? But she was like, the thing is she was like, if the only times that I've ever done, if she does like, now they have like the medicinal gummies that she can take that when you use THC or cannabis, it's been infused to just affect parts of the body to do body relief or whatever. Yeah. She's like, she was in Colorado, somebody gave her one and she was like, the pain went away. I was still functional. And there was zero hangover. There was no anything like that. She's like, it literally was the only thing that could take away the pain, make me feel better, and still make me functional. And she said, when you think about it, if your choices are get high on Vicodin or get high on THC, the only difference is that one's legal and one's not. That's it.
And that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's
so
a fact.
remember, because the only reason I don't mean to segue my own show here, but Angel had a question about that, like when we were talking about when you talked about gateway drugs, and so he asked me, and then I was like, no, hold up, let's do it for the interview. So.
Yeah, no, for sure, because I'm talking to people, and I'm trying to get their points too. I get them in the chair, and I'm like, how do you feel about this whole decriminalization? And it's just like, the main thing is, it's a gateway drug. Yeah. It's going to lead to all this, open up other doors. We're going to ruin our community. Everything's going to get torn down, and we're going to have a major problem.
If you want to use it, people are going to use it, whether it's legal or not. I think we know that now.
That's a fact.
If you don't want to, you don't want to, And I think it comes down to anything with, and I don't want to go down the whole freedom and what our freedoms are thing, but people, if you want to, people find a way. And I think they quoted it in the article of how many, Wyomingites drive to Montana if they're in the northern part of the state or down to Colorado to spend the same money to do the thing that they can't do here. And now Utah. Exactly. And now Utah beat us to it, which is crazy.
Utah.
You can't even buy alcohol on a Sunday in Utah.
I know.
And they've made it legal? You're kidding me.
I mean, yeah, man. I mean, going back to what you said, shout out to sobriety. I've been sober 8 months myself, man.
Hey.
So round of applause to everybody who's sober
Absolutely.
and doing fire things like that, because changing your life is a great thing. And shout out to my wife for helping me understand that.
That's great, bro.
At the end of the day, though, man, I've seen more people going through this recovery battle with doctors prescribing them opiates. Yep. You know what I mean? And we're going through this constant battle of why America is addicted, right? It's not just addicted on marijuana. We got legal doctors out here telling people that, these drugs are going to help you, and then they're in rehab centers, right? I haven't really seen too many people in rehab centers for marijuana, or maybe I don't do my polls and statistics that well, but they're usually at the house on a video game, and everybody's hanging out, and everybody's calm. And they're not even drinking the liquor with domestic violence charges. And making
fantastic music, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shout out to making fantastic music. Absolutely. But, I see a lot of issues. Like, we're always going to have issues, right? But I think the process of what Richard Johnson is trying to accomplish, I'm not even trying, because, like I said, we don't try here. We do. So what he's doing is, I think it's a great way to say, let's trust the process. Let's see if we have an issue after we go through this. And then if we do, then we go backwards, I guess, right? Yeah. But let's at least go forward to see if we would even have a problem. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing more problems coming out the hospital.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I had. I mean, that's why I wanted to answer his question, but on this. And so it's funny because we were dealing with I don't like to say affordable housing so attainable housing. So the council a couple of years ago was working on attainable housing. And so we put up an apartment complex and all these people in a certain, it's the NIMBY, not in my backyard. And so all of a sudden all these people came to a council meeting. And it's funny because I always hear about drugs, especially when we build apartment complexes, they just have this misnomer about them. And so it was awesome. We put in this housing and all the people came from the neighborhood. And I remember Marion got so pissed at me because I lowered my mic, Madam Mayor, and she's like, Mr. Johnson, go ahead. And I go, you worried about your kids going to an apartment complex to get drugs? I was like, all they have to do is open the medicine cabinet. and I said this from the dais, and Marion's like, Richard, you cannot.
Oh, let's go. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, Marion was not happy. She goes, you just called out a whole neighborhood and told them that their kids are all oxy junkies.
I mean, but you're not lying. I mean, you're not lying.
And it was a massive difference from how they attacked marijuana, cocaine, and crack in the 80s and how to deal with the opioids. Because it was a war on drugs for marijuana, crack, cocaine, things like that. It's not a war on opioids. It's we want to take you to counseling, like you said. Rehabilitation centers, things like that. It used to drive me crazy. And that's kind of what got me rooted in following politics so much is the difference between, and I know Joe Biden was a big proponent of that bill, of the war on drugs, but the difference between how they approached, and because I grew up in Houston, Texas, and my community was mostly Black and Hispanic. Everyone there, was on what they would say cheaper drugs, marijuana, crack cocaine, things like that. No one was on the opioids and stuff like that. I didn't even know what an opioid was, until I moved up here. And I'm like, man, this is just as big, but it's not huge. It's not a war on that.
It's huge.
It's want to be helpful. Anyway, I think we talked about drugs long enough on this podcast.